Happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully everybody had an awesome weekend. Welcome into Verts. My name is Harrison Graham, where we talk NFL football all day, every day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Got some franchise tag buzz on one big name player, plus an interesting rumor around a certain quarterback that's a free agent and where he could end up. So we'll dive into that here on today's show. Quick ask from you guys. Share this video on social media. If you're watching right now, which obviously you are, all you got to do is click the share icon, and then YouTube gives you options. You can share it to Twitter, X. You can share it to Facebook. You can text it to your buddies. I will say this. If you tweet it out, share it on X, I think is the icon that it's going to give you now on YouTube. Tag me in the tweet before you click post, at HGrahamNFL. Everybody that tags me will get a retweet and a follow back. Let's get more people here on Verts, publishing content every single day. I would greatly appreciate it. So again, click the share icon and spread the word of this video. Okay, Tee Higgins, is he set to get franchise tagged once again? Report out there that the Bengals plan on tagging him for a second straight year. Obviously, well, let me first say this. The franchise tag window opens tomorrow and then gives teams a couple of weeks to commit to tagging a player or not before free agency starts. So I don't think you'll necessarily see Higgins hit with the tag tomorrow, but I think they have till like March 4th or something like that. So about a 2-week window for teams who are considering franchise tagging players. The Chiefs and Trey Smith, for example. Tee Higgins with the Bengals. Obviously, he was tagged last year and played under the franchise tag in 2024. From this same report, though, it suggested that the Bengals plan on signing Higgins long-term this time, like not with the intention of just playing him on the tag this time. I think the franchise tag, I saw Brad Spielberger tweeted this, for second-year player for Tee Higgins, second year in a row, franchise tag, I should say, is like $26 million. So it's a hefty price, but still, if you're the Bengals, I think one worth placing. It buys you more time to get a long-term deal done, or I still do wonder, like, is a tag and trade on the table? Do the Bengals consider franchise tagging him and trading him to a team? Because I do think a team would trade for Tee Higgins at that price tag and then just work out their own contract extension, because $26 million per year on a franchise tag, he's probably going to get more than that on an annual basis on a long-term deal. So I do not think that this is that shocking. You know, the whole internet is, well, he's getting tagged again. Well, gives the Bengals options, and I still think he's got trade value, even at that price tag. Now, are they going to get a first-round pick for Tee Higgins and a tag and trade if they kind of make it clear they're ready to move on? Maybe not, but they'll get a day 2 pick, and then you get something for him. So whether this means they're going to work out a new deal or if they're going to consider trading him, it gives them options, and obviously when you're a team, you want options when you're deciding what to do with some star players. Now, Joe Burrow, as we've talked about here on Verts, has been applying pressure. He, throughout Super Bowl week, was making TV appearances saying, we need to keep our players here, we need to pay them, we need to pay Tee Higgins, we need to pay Jamar Chase, need to find a way to keep Trey Hendrickson around. And, obviously I have pushed back and made the point that is not how the Bengals have operated. Historically, they might give out one big contract in an offseason. There was deep chatter that to pay Joe Burrow, they had to sell naming rights to an advertiser of their stadium because they are not flushed with cash. And everybody's like, well, they can make it work with the salary cap. Yeah, that's not the issue. The issue is cash available each offseason. Now, I would say if you can't afford to keep multiple star players in the same offseason, then you should probably sell the team. But that's irrelevant in this situation. If the Bengals don't think they can afford to pay all 3 of these guys in the same offseason, then they're not all going to be paid in the same offseason. Jamar Chase, you have to get that one done because I think he will sit this season out without a new deal. I really do think he would do that. Tee Higgins, I don't think he'll play on the franchise tag again. So if you go that route, you may have to either pay him or trade him to a new team. Trey Hendrickson, 31, going to be 32. If I had to guess out of the 3, he would probably, at this point, be the odd man out if they're willing to pay 2 guys this offseason and not 3, which, again, would still be more than what they've done historically. So the Bengals are a team to watch. And I think Burrow is making his intentions clear. And he said it the other day, yeah, the Eagles model seems to work. Pay and keep your good players. Well, I respect him for applying pressure. Will the Bengals change their ways? Will they keep their star quarterback happy? I said this a couple weeks ago. I'll say it again. I think we're 18 to 24 months away from Joe Burrow requesting a trade if they don't make a more concerted effort to keep their best players. Because he's not going to sit here and have these 4,500-yard seasons with 30-plus touchdowns and go 9-8. Like, he's not going to waste his career in Cincinnati if they are not committed to building a winner around him. So keep an eye on this. I think this offseason will show a lot about how committed Cincinnati is to winning at the highest level. And if they are committed, they'll find a way to keep all three of these players because Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Tee Higgins, and Trey Henderson are their four best players. There's no question about them. Will they pay these players as such? That remains to be seen. What say you? Where will Tee Higgins play in 2025? If you had to predict it for us right now, excuse me, go ahead and guess down in the comments below. I get the reporting that they're going to get a long-term deal done. I got to see it to believe it because Chase has to be a bigger priority, and just knowing how they operate, I don't know. I feel like a tag and trade could be out there, so we'll have to wait and see. Okay, Justin Fields to the Jets. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler naming the Jets as, quote, a sleeper option for the free agent to be quarterback Justin Fields. Here's what Fowler had to say, quote, Jets could have some interest. They like the idea of a dual-threat quarterback. I'm told Fields has looked at that roster and has some intrigue. So certainly very interesting. And, Fields is a polarizing player. He's a polarizing figure among NFL fans. He seems to have a bit of a cult following, and I should know. I cover the Bears, and there's still Bears fans that think Fields should be their guy. Steelers fans, a big portion of them want to build around Justin Fields as well. I will say this when it comes to the Jets. I could see both sides being interested. Why? Well, number one, Aaron Rodgers, even if they post in one cut him, they're still going to take on dead cap money there. So they may want to look at a guy who they view has some upside but isn't going to break the bank for either, and you could get on a one-year deal. Justin Fields checks all those boxes. Isn't going to cost a lot. You could sign him to a one-year deal, kind of take a flyer on a guy with some upside. If it works, great. If not, you go get your long-term quarterback next year. So that's number one. Number two, and perhaps more interesting lead to me, is this. Their new head coach, Aaron Glenn, was in Detroit, obviously, for several years as their defensive coordinator. Justin Fields, obviously, up and down career. Some of his best games, though, in Chicago came against the Lions. He ran all over them a couple of times, split with them a couple of years ago when the Lions had their 12-win season and went to the NFC Championship game. Dan Campbell spoke highly of him. I would have to think Aaron Glenn has some respect there about what he's capable of as a player, especially as a runner. He had some big running games against Detroit. Now, is he a guy that's going to be the next Geno Smith, Baker, Darnold, just resurgence career guy? Maybe, maybe not. There's clear flaws there in his game as a passer, but if you're the Jets and you're cutting Aaron Rodgers and you have some dead money, I know they've said, and it's been reported, that they're going to post you one cut him. If you're thinking about Justin Fields, I would just take all the dead money this year for Aaron Rodgers and then just sign Justin Fields for like $10 million. I don't think you're going to have to break the bank to get Justin Fields, which is why, I could see both parties being interested, because I don't think Fields is going to have like all these different options for starting jobs. He will have a handful of teams that are like, hey, you could come in here and compete. Like, even the Steelers, though, if he goes back there, are they just going to promise him the starting job? I doubt it. They might draft somebody, or they might bring in a veteran, or they might, be exploring other avenues as well. So, but the Jets, with Tyrod Taylor there, they might promise Justin the job, and Taylor's just the backup. Like, that could very well be the case there. So if I'm Fields and I'm examining my options, and if I'm down to 2 or 3 teams that could give me a chance to start, that's probably what I'm looking at. I mean, I mentioned the Saints as a team if they cut Derek Carr, because Kellen Moore is going there, obviously work with Jalen Hurts. They're going to have limited cap space as well, so he could be an option for them to start. But who knows? They may just roll with Spencer Rattler. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But if you're Justin Fields and a team is like, hey, come start for us, I think that's something you got to jump on especially getting, I don't want to say benched for Russell Wilson, but once Russ got healthy last year, the Steelers rolled with him the rest of the way. So I don't know what message that sends to the rest of the league, but I would imagine a lot of teams like, maybe we shouldn't bring him in as a starter. So if the Jets are willing to offer him that, it's got to be pretty appealing for Fields because they have Breece Hall as a running back. Their offensive line's actually in decent shape. Garrett Wilson is there. They've got some interesting young pieces, especially compared to some other options that could open up. So we'll see what happens here. I know Aaron Glenn has respect for him, so we'll see if that's a potential marriage, at least for 2025. Who's going to sign Justin Fields this year? What say you in the comment section down below? If you had to predict, go ahead and drop a team. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will continue to pump out the latest NFL news, rumors, big storylines as we are less than a month away from free agency, the draft in late April as well. We'll have another mock draft this week as well. NFL Combine gets going next week, so lots of stuff going on in the NFL world. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys next time.